Yeah. Mm, Yesterday we discussed about upset logic, right? Right. Yesterday we discussed about upset logic. But if you observe here, we had other some hard code, right? Here also some hard code, right? Even the join condition also hard code, right? But this is not a generic solution, right? This solution is especially for only for EMP file, right? Only for EMP file. This notebook, right? We cannot use for maybe product or vendor object. If you want to implement that upset logic for vendor, then we should change this logic, right? We should change this logic. I don't want to provide the hard code. Here also, if you observe in that on condition, right? In the on condition, where condition, right? Right. Here, everything is hard coded. I don't want to provide the hard code value. I have to get this value dynamically, right? I want to generate especially this condition dynamically. Right. The code should be generic for all that objects. That is called a dynamic notebook or generic notebook. Moreover, this notebook is only especially designed for only EMP dataset, not for other datasets. Right, we'll create a notebook, generic notebook. Okay. The step one, right, we'll create widgets, dvutils dot widgets dot text source path, source path, target path. Target path. So this is for inbound. Then we'll create one more widget object name. Right. We'll create one more widget object name or source name or file name. Otherwise, you can create some file name. So this is my target location. Target location. That object is employee. So the file name is employee. The file name is employee. But if you want, you can do the print statement. TGT path and file. But if you want, you can display. Right, if you want, you can display on your log. Right. So what is the next? The next we have to create the source data frame. Right. We have to create the source data frame. Right. Spark data. Right. Read data. Format. CSV. Dot option. Header equal to true. Dot option. Infer schema. Dot load. Source path. Plus file name. Start with CSV. But start.csv. Otherwise, you can create one more variable and concatenate this logic. If you want, you can create one more variable, concatenate, right? If you want, you can create. Right. Now you're creating df underscore src, right? Df underscore src to read the data, right? To read the data. All right. If you want, you can display the source count. Right. If you want, you can display the source count. Right. Count equal to 5. source data frame creation from CSV file. All right. So what is the next? Right. The next, right, we have to do the comparison. Right. We have to do the comparison. The very first time, or at very first time, we should create one empty data frame. Right. Very first time we should create one empty data frame. Then, if it is second time, we should take the data from the target. Right. Target. If target path exists, otherwise. Right. Here we have to use that exception handling concept, right? We have to use that exception handling concept. Because why I'm using exception handling concept? Because very first time the target path is not available, definitely my program will fail, right? If my program will fail, then we'll create that empty data frame. We'll create that empty data frame. If you want, you can create two exception handling concept. One for target path is not available. Second, exception handling during the creation of also chances are there maybe the failure happened, right? Here also if you want you can do the try except handling, right? In case the source file path is not available, then your program will fail, right? Here also if you want you can include your try except. Yet if you want you can include in each and every code exception handling. But if you want you can print. In case if you want you can make a failure. If you want you can see the error message. In case if you want to make out failure, please include the raise exception. But in case if you want to make out failure, right? If it is failed, right, you should not continue this program, right? If the source, I mean, this data frame has been failed while creating this data frame, maybe it could be source path is not available, right? Source path is not available due to some XYZ issue, due to some XYZ issue. Then you can make out failure, right? Notebook has failed while creating a source data frame, right? We should not continue the third command, right? Then you can make out here, you can make out failure, right? You should not continue this program, right? Then you can include the raise exception, right? You can include the raise exception. So what is the next? The next one, right? Otherwise, you can use any Python, I mean, file commands, whether the file is available or not. You can include, otherwise, easy way, right? Very easy method dbtools.fs.ls. So this list command will execute in case if the path is available. Otherwise, it will raise an exception, right? It will raise an exception. So this command you especially are using for whether the folder is exist or not, right? The folder is exist or not. Target was exist, right? Except, right? Except you can input that except logic, but you can include that except logic. Here you should create your empty data frame. Here you have to create your empty data frame. How can I create my empty data frame? How can I create my empty data frame? The syntax spark dot create data frame, right? Empty list, right? Empty list. Next, right? The source columns, right? df underscore src dot columns. Sorry, schema. Right? Empty data frame has been created. Right? If you want, you can see the that query returned no results means. So this is that empty data frame, right? This is that empty data frame we can create. So yesterday wanted we have provided the three null values, right? Here I don't want to provide, right? Everything it is a dynamic, because why I'm using the df underscore src dot schema. If you want to create any data frame, we need data plus a schema information, right? Need data plus a schema information, because my target very first time I don't have the data because I'm creating that empty data frame. If you want to create any table in the database, the table definition is mandatory, right? The schema. I want to consider my source structure. If my source and target both are same, right? Then you can take your source structure. Then you can take your especially source structure. Both are same, right? Your source and target both are same. If in case if a target is having some additional columns, right? Target is having additional columns, then you can include those additional columns. I mean, additional columns means the audit columns, right? Additional columns means audit columns. Then go and create those audit columns. Go and create those audit columns. Otherwise, just assume your source and target both are having the same structure. Means number of columns are same. Number of columns are same. Then we can include this logic, right? Then we can include this logic to create a empty data frame, right? df underscore tgt equal to df underscore tgt equal to, right? df underscore tgt spark dot create data frame, spark dot create data frame. See, the count is 0, right? The count is 0, but if you want, you can print your count details. Right. No empty data frame has been created. Empty data frame has been created. All right. There is no hard coded, right? There is no hard coded because we have taken the list, right? We are using the especially your source schema information. If the target is available, right? If the target is available, still you can use try exception handling concept. If you want, you can use the try exception handling concept. df underscore tgt equal to tgt path plus you want to create one file name, right? You want to create one file name, right? Inside this folder, right? You want to take the data from your target. Either could be part file or it could be single csv file, right? It could be single csv file. In case while creating this, in case if it is failure, right? You can create an exception. exception. You can use print notebook has failed while creating target data frame. While creating the target data frame, right? While creating the target data frame, but if you want, you can make the failure print error message, right? Print error message if you want. You can put that error message in your screen, right? Raise exception, raise exception, right? In case if this process failed, it will execute except here I'm not using the raise exception because this is definitely it will fail if the target path is not available. Very first time it will fail. I'm creating into the create data frame, right? Create a data frame. Target path plus file name, right? Target path plus file name. Target path plus file name. The target path slash your object name is processor slash employee, right? Processor slash employee. Here also processor slash employee, right? While creating here you can make out your failure, then see the target count, target count. See your target count details. But so what is that next? Now source data frame is available, target data frame is available, right? Source data frame is available, target data frame is available. All right. If you want to create one more cell to create the temporary views, all right. Otherwise, you can include here. All right. Let me create here only. Temp view creation for data. All right. df underscore src dot create or replace temp view. We have the global and local. We discuss. Okay. Next, let me take the source src. Target TGT, but SRC and TGT, right? SRC and TGT. You can create these two sources. I mean, source and target temporary views has been created. So what is the next? Right? The next one, we should compare the data, right? We should compare the data, right? Target minus source, right? Target minus source records. We should extract, right? Target minus source records. We should extract. Those are no change records, right? There is no change on those data points, right? There is no changes on those data points. So we have to extract. We are not implementing, in case if you are not in target minus source logic, right? Definitely we lose the data, right? Because my source is a delta, right? My source is always delta, always will extract only the partial data, not complete full data set, all right? Not complete full data set, all right? So we should implement the, all right? We should implement the no changes records, right? No changes. target minus source data, right? Target minus source data. How can I implement it? How can I implement the target minus source logic? Right, we'll use the SQL statement, right? Select, right, tgt dot star from tgt left gen src on tgt dot employee code equal to src dot employee code and tgt dot ename equal to src dot ename. Just as maybe two primary keys where src dot ecd is null. src dot ecd is null. If you want to add, you can include ename also null. All right. Let me execute this query. But query return no results means query return no means zero records, right? Query return no results means zero records. Right, I have to include this logic. I have to include this logic. But so this is again hard coded, right? Again, this is hard code. How can I get this logic dynamically? How can I get this logic dynamically? Right? And right, right, we have to get this logic dynamically because right, we're 100% sure both are primary keys, both columns. It will not expect any null values physically from the source. Then only we should use this logic, null logic. In case if your column is nullable, right, you are seeing some null values to this column, right, then don't include this logic, right? Don't include these two columns, right, which is the primary key from your source side, right? Key column is from source side, then you can include those columns in the on condition and the where condition. For example, that highlighted one is not key column, then don't include in the join condition, right? In the join condition as well as in your where condition, don't include. But how can I generate this statement? Right? How can I generate this statement dynamically? Right? How can I generate this statement dynamically? For example, just as a pk list or primary key is equal to acd comma ename, acd comma ename. Just as a maybe we'll get from the widgets, from that input we'll get the primary keys also, we'll get that primary keys. Okay, if I'm getting that primary keys acd ename, but how can I generate this statement? How can I generate this statement? If you observe, your primary keys are separated by comma, right? Your primaries are separated by the commas. We can create list, right? It's possible, right? We can create that list, right? pk list equal to pk list equal to, we can use the split, right? We can use the split logic, right? Right, if I'm using that pk list, now your data is available in that list, right? ecd comma ename, ecd comma ename, right? If I'm using the k in range 0 comma pk list. Correct. We are getting ECD and ename, right? We are getting ECD and ename. Correct. We are getting that ECD and ename. SRC data. Let me give that hard code. SRC data. Correct. We are getting SRC dot ECD and src.ename, alright, src.ecd and src.ename, alright. Let me include here src.ecd is null and src.ename is null, right? src.ename is null, right? This is your filter condition, right? This is your filter condition, right? This is your filter condition. Let me create one variable. This is my filter condition. Filter condition equal to blank. Filter condition equal to blank. If I'm using this filter condition equal to filter condition plus but filter condition plus this logic. Let me remove. Let me generate one statement, print filter condition. Let me use that filter condition. Let src.ecd is null, src.ename is null, and right, src.ename is and right. If you observe 3 characters, 1 space characters, and before space, overall the 5 characters, right? Overall the 5 characters. Right. If I'm using the especially length of right, the length of filter condition, right, the length of filter condition. Let me use -4. Right, we are generating src.e code is null, src.ename is null. The same statement I'm generating, right? Right. The same statement I'm generating. The same statement I'm generating. Now, this is not hard coded, right? No, this is not hard coded. All right, this is not hard coded. So what about this statement? Right, I want to generate this statement. I want to generate this statement. But how can I generate this statement? The same logic I can use, right? This is clear, right? Any doubts? Because why I'm using this logic? Because I don't want to do the hard code value, right? I want to generate this statement. I want to generate this statement dynamically. Depends on your source. If you observe in your source data frame creation, there is no hard coded value, right? But only the problem here, the join condition, the filter condition, I'm doing that hard code. I don't want to provide that any hard code value, right? I don't want to provide that hard code value. But how
Hardcode,
can I generate?
hardcode mean ECD and ename are we are
Correct,
passing.
correct,
Okay.
right?
But
Now,
in PK's place, we are giving ECD ename.
then I
So
will get it from the widgets, right? The
okay,
highlighted also I will get that from widget. Means from that input. While executing this notebook, my input from that lookup or from the control table only, I will extract this information. This information I will send to the my data factory from the data factory notebook, right?
okay,
Right?
yes sir.
Any doubts? So this is will get it from widgets, okay? This is will get it from widgets.
So that filter condition, if you can explain, sir, that length
Yeah,
where we are passing that. Na?
sure.
First time when we are sending this value, that filter condition will have null to that, right, sir? And it will only include source.ecd is null, and that statement will come, and that will be stored in filter condition.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
First time when we are sending, sir, that filter condition plus source we are saying, right? Filter condition will be null there.
Blank, correct.
Blank, and then we will say source dot the first value ECD is null, and that value, that
Space,
entire value will, yeah, along with
correct,
space, will store in filter condition. Correct,
correct,
sir?
correct.
Now when we say again the length of filter condition -4, we say,
No, the
right, sir?
second value, so it will repeat,
Correct.
right?
Second value will go in that. when it goes second value, the first value will be there and the second value has to be printed. Correct, sir?
Correct. Yeah. Now you'll get this output, right?
Okay.
Right. The last and we should not include, right?
Okay, sir. Got you, sir.
Right.
Okay, sir. Got you, sir.
Right. Clear, right?
Clear, sir. Clear.
I mean, we written a program to bring that phrase. That
Sorry.
ECD. I mean, we have written this program commands in command 6
Mm-hmm.
to bring that SRC ECD is null.
The
And
join, I mean, the filter condition, the where filter condition, right?
yes,
This
yes.
one.
I mean, this is a Python program. We can write any other way also.
Other way means I did not get you.
I mean, it's a user customized. We
Which
can.
user customization? This is you're developing, right?
I mean, I can develop any other way around this program.
I mean, you can develop, right? Your wish. If you're comfortable in data factory, you can develop data factory also if it is possible. Otherwise, from your Azure SQL DB only, you can write one stored procedure to generate this statement,
Okay.
right? Which is comfort for you, right? Okay, no, I'm sending complete this statement, right? Anyway, this is I'm feeding only once from the control table. I will in complete generate this statement from Azure SQL DB. Yes, you can include it. Your wish.
Okay.
Right. Depends. In case, for example, maybe you're creating a control table, right? From the control table only, I will include this statement, right? You can include this entire statement. You can include only one-time activity, right? You can include. Otherwise, you can include this logic here.
Okay.
Clear, right? Any
Sumant,
doubt?
if we accept primary keys from the widget, that means we can process only for one file, right? One type of file, I mean.
I mean, this notebook is generic, right? You can execute in the loop also, right? From the ADF point of view.
ADF point of view. Okay.
Correct, right? I mean, I'm using the for loop before, right?
Yeah, that I understand. What I'm saying is, if and that means we need to get the keys as well from the ADF.
Correct,
But
you're right.
what if I want to pass just a root folder?
I mean, then
That
it's
in
not
that case, it has to be from the control table or somewhere, right? Based
correct,
on the
correct,
file
correct,
name something.
correct. You're right. You're right.
Okay. So that means we should pre-configure those things in a control table. Only then
Exactly.
we can make it more
Generic.
generic. Yeah.
Correct. You're right. You're right. Otherwise, very tough, right? Otherwise, a number of objects we should create, right?
Yeah. Understand now. Yeah, because the moment you said primary keys from the widget, when I'm thinking, what if source root folder passes as an input? Yeah, I think control table makes more sense.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you have the projects, right? They will read the data from here also, control table. Depends, right? Either ADF or you can read the control table from here also. Just you can send that employee to your control table. It will retrieval your all the primary keys list. Depends on your convenient. For example, I don't want to write this logic, right? I don't want to write this logic. But how you will generate this logic, right? How you will generate this statement? Now this statement I will include my control table also. Depends, right? If you want to make out more complexity your control table, then you can include. It's very hard, right? Right, Suresh? Each and everything, if
That
you're
I understand.
including that control table, definitely that is a driver table. It's very complicated, right? Because too much dependency on your control table.
But
Right?
otherwise,
Manually, if you
yeah.
do mistake, right, it's major impact to your code, right?
So it all depends on where we are doing the loop, whether it's
Correct,
from the ADF or in the Databricks.
correct. You're right. You're right. Depends. I mean, few of the people, right? Why should I use this logic? So can't we give that hard code from the control table? You can hard code control table. Your wish, right? But here,
Yeah.
I mean, generating more work to your control table indirectly, right? Manual activity more, right? But this is only
Yes.
one-time activity, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we should at least make out your control table very simply, right? We should not write too many manual statements at control table because control table is again it's a manual activity, right, Suresh?
Yeah, obviously, but something is missing again, it will fail
There is
again.
a major impact, right? A major impact on your code.
Yeah.
Okay, next. Now this filter condition is clear, right? How we are generating the filter condition.
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Next, the same, the join condition also same logic, right? The join condition also the same logic. What the join condition logic?
Sumant bro, one doubt.
Yeah.
Like in control table, we can create like source path, target path, and primary keys. Like 3 columns we can create.
File name also for 4 objects.
4 objects we should create. Okay.
Correct.
So that we can take in lookup and we can do for each. In for each, we can call this notebook.
Correct. Right. Yeah. I mean, you can execute this notebook for a number of objects in your control table. 100 objects, for example, 100 objects. Right. In your for loop, right, make out some 20 parallel, right? The 20 times that notebook will execute parallel.
Okay. Like if you want to add any new file in future, like we can add in only control file.
Exactly.
We don't need to change it.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
Okay.
You're right. That is called generic notebook, correct?
Yes.
Right. Then you should do the testing, right? Proper testing you have to do, right? Whether source records are how available, how many, because this especially notebook will execute post completion of your data ingestion, right? I mean, source
Yes.
to landing completed, then only you're executing this process notebook, right?
Yes. Yes.
Right. Next, we are generating the join condition. The same logic, right? The join condition, right? The same logic we can include in your join condition. All right, what is our join condition? The join condition equal to join condition plus, right? Join condition plus. What is your logic? TGT dot, right? Let me use the small one.
ECD.
Let me use the small src dot ecd, right? Okay. What is the next? TGT, right? TGT dot ECD, right? TGT dot ECD means your column, right? First we'll generate, we'll print, and we'll see. Plus equal to, sorry, in the double quotes equal to, or in the double quotes equal to src dot, right? src dot, or here you can take the src dot, or here you can take the TGT dot, here we share dot pk list. Right, pk list, right? Pk list. Then you have to use that your and condition. Your and condition, right? You have to use that your and condition, right? Let me see the print message. Let me see the print message. That we are generating the right statement, right? TGT dot ECD equal to src dot ECD and TGT dot ename equal to src dot ename. There is no hard coded, right? Except here, this one we'll get it from the widgets. The rest of the logic is there is no hard coded, right, Suresh? Yeah, right. Then we'll get the first one also, P keys, right? Is comma separated, ECD comma ename. This is the comma separated one. Alright, if you want, you can include the your primary keys also in here. ECD. No, there is no hard coded, right? There is no hard coded value. So we can use this statement, right? All right. We can use this statement to generate your joint condition and a filter condition. All right. We can use this statement to generate your joint condition and filter condition. If you want, you can display. If you want, you can include the statement src.ecd is null and src.ename is null. Yes. All right. We'll use this logic, right? We'll use this logic, Control C. Right. Now we can use our Spark SQL statement, right? Spark.sql. Here the first one is join condition. Df underscore no changes equal to. Let me execute this statement. Print. What went wrong?
That parenthesis for that flower bracket, sir.
The correct only select TG dot star from TG left gen SRC on join condition where filter condition.
Oh, we have put double quotes at the end of the format.
Here
That
only
is,
we should put here.
yeah.
Spelling correct at spark.sql correct only. Select TGT dot start from TGT left gen SRC on this join condition. Filter condition correct on right filter condition is the filter condition. TGT only right TGT dot ECD equal to SRC dot ECD and TGT dot ename equal to SRC. TGT SRC. That is join condition correct. Filter condition. Where SRC dot ECD is null, SRC dot ename is correct only. It's not taking that value dot format. This is wrong. Right within the double quotes or a dot format join condition filter condition. It's correct only. It's displaying right.
I think in the select only.
And at the end, it is giving and, sir.
Where it is? Okay,
At
sorry.
the end.
Here is filter condition. We removed right -4.
We did -5, I think, sir, in that.
It's correct only right. We're generating.
No, filter condition is -5. Correct only,
Correct
sir.
only right. But why is it displaying and double? This is wrong right. That's what is giving the error message. Because of this last and only.
Is it because that widget is considering it as empty space at
Right?
the
No,
end,
no,
sir?
no,
No.
no. Here we are getting the correct only, right?
Join
Filter
condition is
condition.
correct, sir.
But
Filter only is
Sumant,
correct.
we haven't taken into removed offset into any variables, no?
Oh, correct. You're right. You're right. We should we should use here, right? Yeah, right. The same logic we should create in the same variable, right?
Just printing it, but we are
Yes,
not taking
correct.
into, we are
Yeah,
not modifying them.
correct. You're right. You're right. You're right. We should assign right joint condition.
That I didn't get it, sir. What was it? We are not. We
No,
are
actually,
printing it.
we are only printing, right? We should assign the same value to again the same variable, right?
Ah, right. Okay. Correct.
Yes. Yes, no. Yeah, no, it's perfect.
Assignment was an issue.
Yeah, yeah. Now we have taken the no changes, right? No changes in the target data, right? Target data or source data, target minus source, logic we're implementing, right? Especially these records are no changes. Now we have the source count and no change count. Source count and no change count. Right? If you want, you can display that all the count details, right? In your log. If you want, you can display that all the source details, right? See, this is where your understanding, or if you want, you can maintain in your log source count, right? You can maintain your source count details, target count details also you can maintain. Target count details also you can maintain, right? No changes, right? Right, no changes records you can count, all right? If you want, you can maintain. Correct. If you want, you can maintain. Hello.
Yes, bro.
Yes.
Able to set for fluctuation. Okay. Now we'll take the. You're able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll do the consolidation, right? We'll do the consolidation, right? We'll do the consolidation, merge or union, right? Source under right. No changes. df underscore src dot union df underscore no changes bf underscore right. Now here you can use the your source counter, df underscore src dot count. Here df underscore tgt dot count. But here df underscore no changes dot count. But here df underscore src dot count. Right. You can execute this statement to display the count details in the log file, right? The Databricks log file, right? Or else, so this value you're planning to write into your target system, right? You're planning to write into your target system. If you want, you can create one more data frame also, df underscore final equal to up to your wish. If you want, you can create one more, right? No, I don't want to create. I mean, I don't want to do any changes on my source, right? Then you can create your final, right? df final or df merge or upset your wish. Yet you don't want to modify the source data frame, right? Then you can create the separate one. If you want, you can create the separate one. Let source record count, target record count, no changes record count, offset record count means your target is expecting 5 records. But your target is expecting 5 records. So what is the final next? Write the data, right? df underscore upset dot write. Alright, df underscore upset dot write. That mode overwrite format dot save. If you want to create one variable and assign this value. Alright. If you want to create one variable also. If I'm executing this logic or at this command line, it will take the data into your target location. Right? It will take the data into your target location. Let me execute. Then we'll add the delete unwanted files, right? We'll delete unwanted files. Then we'll rename to single file. We'll execute the next logic. Let me execute. Or the target AIC processed employee. All right. Underscore success underscore committed underscore started. All right. Underscore success underscore committed underscore started. Here part files. Right here part files. All right. If I'm executing this logic one more time, the same input. Let's see. Source records count, target records count, no changes record count 0. Right. Here after records count 5. Right. Right. This thing. In your requirement, I don't want to see these files, right? I don't want to see these files. Right? But how can I eliminate, right? How? Means after completion, right? After completion, I have to eliminate the, right, my unwanted files. Right? I have to eliminate that one unwanted files. Yesterday we were implementing the logic, right? It is not static. Okay. We'll implement the same logic. We'll implement the same logic. We'll create one user defined function. What is it? Our logic? Our logic, right? We should read the data from this target path plus file name, right? dbutils dbutils dot fs dot ls. Right, it will display that all the files, right? It will display that all the files. Will create a target file list, right? tgt file list equal to tgt file list, the tgt file list. Then we'll take that for loop, right? F in range 0 comma length of tgt file list. tgt file list. All right. Let me use the print statement. tgt file list of f. Right. It will display that all the values. Right. It will display that all the values. Dot name. It will display that all the names. Right. It will display all the file names. If a file name dot starts with underscore. Right. I have to delete these files, right? These files success committed started. If I'm using this logic, right? If I'm using this logic db utils dot fs dot rm db utils dot fs dot rm, that files will be deleted, right? Already we discussed, right? This logic.
Yes, bro.
Control C. Let me create one user defined function. Let me create one user defined function. All right, let me create one user defined function. Log files or deletion. It is expecting target path. It is expecting some target path. Target path for f in range tgit file list. The tgit file list. Right. Now this user defined function is expecting. Right, this user defined function is expecting some target path. All right. This user defined function is expecting some target path details. Log files deletion. Right, here I will use the log files deletion. All right. It here print. Right. Log files. Target write process. Right, completed.
That write mode, what we are writing, so that has to be assigned with some value, right, sir? Target file path.
Where it is?
df underscore upsert dot write dot mode is there, na? That particular value we should give it to some variable, right, sir?
Why?
I mean, on the top in the definition, little above, sir. Here we are passing target path there, right, sir?
Here I'm passing right. Target plot file name, right?
Okay.
It's combination, right?
Okay, sir.
Right. Here we shall. Otherwise, you can create one variable, or it depends. If you want to create one variable, this two concatenation, right? This concatenation only, right? Not comma, right?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Right. Let me delete. Right. Let me execute this process. Run all cells. It's completed. Let me go and check. AIC processor employee. Right now, I'm able to see the two part files, right? I'm able to see the two part files. That I'm able to see the two part files. Maybe in your requirement, I don't want to see the two part files. I want to see that only employee.csv, just as them. I want to see that only employee.csv. Right? Then we'll use that move command. Before applying this logic, right? We'll execute for another object, okay? Because we'll check whether this notebook is working for other object or also, right? Other object or not, we'll check. Right? Other object will see the some product files, okay? Product code, product name, price. Okay. Right, let me create one more product. So these are my 5 products. Okay. Let me create product. Product underscore 202. Only one product, right? Let me delete this file. Let me delete that existing file. dbutils.fs.rm. Yeah, product. Tables file inbound. Tables file inbound. This is my data. All right. Inbound is same, right? Inbound is same. File inbound. So what is the primary keys? Product code, right? Only let me take the product code. Only product code. Correct. What is the file name? Product is your file name. Product is your file name. File store tables AIC processed inside the product folder should be created post completion. Alright. That input file coming from tables slash file inbound. Okay. File inbound. Let me go and execute. It's completed. See. See. Source count 5. Target very first time. Right. 0 records 5. Let me go and see that empty data frame. Right. This is your empty data frame. This is your, if you want, you can do the print statement also. This is the first load empty data frame we are creation. Here, if you want, you can include the print statement. So this is the initial execution creating into that empty data frame. If you want, you can do the print statement. All right. src.pcd is null. tg.pcd equal to src.pcd. Right? Because we are taking only one record, right? Let me go and check. Let me go and check in my target location. File store tables AIC processed inside one more folder. Product folder should be created. See, product folder is there. Now you're able to see that only one part file. You're able to see that only one part file. Clear, right? Now the solution is generic solution. Right? Now the solution is generic solution. That next requirement, right? No, I don't want to see the part files, right? I want to see file name wise, right? I want to see the file name like product.csv or emp.csv, product.csv or emp.csv. I want to use. Then we'll use df underscore upset equal to df underscore upset dot Kuliskov. What it will do? It will create only one part file, right? It will create only one part file. It will create. So what is the next requirement? Post successful completion of your part file, right? Post successful completion of your part file. Then you have to rename, right? Right, what is the logic? Right, what is the logic we have to use? All right, here we'll take the rename file, right? We have to use that rename file. Means your target location place, you have to provide your file name also, right? You have to provide the two variables, right? One is your target location. The second one is, right, you want to rename that file, right? What is the naming convention, right? The naming convention also you have to provide, right? You have to provide. What is the next requirement? The next requirement, how can you display this data, right? Dot fs dot ls. Two files, right? But why am I able to see the two files? Yeah, only one file. Yeah, right. This is your data. Right, this is your data. What is your next requirement? The next requirement, I want to take this file, right? I want to take this file. Then I want to rename to, right? I want to rename to emp.csv or product.csv, right? Product.csv, right? Fi dot path, Fi dot path. We can use the db utils, right? db utils dot fs dot move command, right? We can use that move command. We can use that move command fi dot path, right? Fi dot path. Then we can use this location, right? tgt path, right? Inside we have to use the product means product dot csv. If the product, right, we'll get it from that file name. All right, let me use that file name. Right, let me use that file name. Right, let me execute. right? Product.csv. Let me read the data from this one. Read data format CSV data. Right now, yes, I'm able to see the data. Right, I'm able to see the data. The file has been moved to product.csv. So I can use this logic, right? I can implement this logic, right? I can implement this logic to rename the files, right? To rename the files. To rename the files. Right. Def target path and fname. So this is up to your wish. If you want, you can create the two variables, or you can create one variable, because anyway this is your global variable, right? You can use the target path. Fi dot path, right? You can use the target path. Target path. In case your input is, you're getting the slash, right? Slash we're getting, right? Yeah, process slash your object name, right? Slash plus you should provide the your object name also, right? You should provide your object name. Anyway, here we're getting that object name slash file name, all right? Product.csv. Show title. Right, log files and deletion. Right, log files. Right, log files and deletion. Let me run. Product.csv. Let me create few more records. Then we'll see. 50 rupees. Right, one more product, right? One more product, right? What the product name? product underscore 20210428.csv. Let me remove the old file, because in the real time we will not see that old files, right? We'll move the files to archive location, right? Let me remove the 27.5 db utils.fs. File inbound, right? I'm able to see product only the latest file. All right. Let me execute this process. Right? Let me execute this process. Then spark dot read dot we'll see the unit test cases. Okay, the command 2, command 3, both are part of your unit test cases. Okay, will not include these commands in your main code. Let me execute. Get source count to go to here. 6 records. Overall in your target, we're expecting 6 records. There are 4 changes. There is no change in the 4 records. Source count to the existing target count 5. No changes for 4 plus 2, 6. Right. 60 rupees, 102. There is no change. Right. 106 and 101. 101 there is a change, and 106 is a new product. Let me go and check in my target location. Product.cs. Clear, right? Any doubts? Sorry. Yeah. This is not hard product. This is you're getting from the ADF, right? For your for your understanding, I am providing here a hard code, right? Because there is no collaboration with your ADF, right? This community Databricks. Correct. Correct. In ADF, the base parameters are from the lookup, basically from that lookup. Correct. I mean, that is only one-time activity, right? Basically, what is our main purpose? This notebook should be generic, right? Any doubts? Okay. Suresh, any doubts, Suresh? Kiran? I mean, you can explain in interview in detail how you were implemented upsert logic or SE type 1. Both are same, right?
Yeah, bro, you
Yeah,
can tell
perfect
real world
UDF, I
example.
guess.
Sorry?
Perfect UDF, I guess.
UDF, I didn't get you.
It's like a UDF, perfect UDF, writing a perfect UDF, I'm saying.
Okay, okay. Okay, okay, yeah. Plus, okay, there is a mistake in this code. Could you please someone highlight? So there is a major impact if I'm using this code. Not 100%, 99%, no issue. 1% there is a issue in this code. Sorry? No. Why move command issue? I did not get you. Why move command? No, right? I mean, that is not issue, right? That is performance, right? I'm talking about. So there is a major damage on your data. I mean, user definitely will raise concern. Definitely raise one concern. Maybe on one day. 99% no issue, but there is some abnormal issue also. Suresh, if you observe this command 3, we are doing which operation? Overwrite, right, Suresh? During the
Yes.
writing time, maybe your cluster was aborted due to some XYZ. Chances are there, right?
Yeah.
If I'm doing that abort, in between the process was terminated. Overwrite means first it will delete and write, right?
Okay. So we'll lose that old file.
Target data, right? Because,
Yeah.
for example, your target data contains huge many records, just as a maybe 6 months of data. The 6 months of data you will lose, right?
Yeah. So we are not maintaining any backup before doing
Exactly.
this all right. Yeah.
Exactly. So shall we include one backup before writing?
It's better to
No,
do. Yeah.
nothing harm, right?
Yeah.
Right? Nothing harm, right? Just we're taking that backup of that existing file. We are doing that overwrite. Once my process completed, I'm removing the backup folder. Right, Suresh?
Yeah. I think this is what we discussed. Yeah. We haven't implemented today.
Right, yeah. So last time we were discussing, right? Last time also,
Yeah.
the same
You
concept.
explained this, I mean, when
Right,
we,
yeah,
yeah.
correct. So this is one more important step because we should at any cost or because definitely 99% it may not fail, but 1% chances are there, right? We are not sure, right? Especially this failure, right? Abnormal termination, right? Due to maybe your cluster, some XYZ issues, unknown issues, right? Unknown issues.
Yeah.
Right? Why should
Sometimes we might have like 2 to 3 years of data as well in a single file, and we lose all of children if something goes wrong.
correct, right? Why should I take the risk, right? Why should I take the risk, right? Why should let me take the backup? Let me take the backup. Right? Let me take the backup. But how can I take the backup? Right? We have the copy command, right? Right? We have the copy command. Right? We have the copy command. Partition tables means I didn't get you. Yeah, we'll create. Yeah, build target backup file, right? Target backup file. What is our location? All right, this product.csv will create inside the processor. Inside here we'll create otherwise we'll create inside the processor will create product underscore backup. Right, this is our source path. Right, this is our source path. This is your wish. If you want to create a number of variables, up to your wish. Okay. Underscore BKP. Right, underscore BKP. Right. So this is my target backup path. TGT backup path. TGT backup path. Now I have to move the my target files into this backup location. Right. TGT path place till processed inside the processed fname product underscore BKP folder will be created. That BKP folders will be created. What is the next one? Right, we'll use the dbutils dot fs dot copy, right, fs dot copy command, fs dot copy command. Right, what is the copy? We'll take the backup. Right, what is the copy? So from this location you want to take the copy. Right, from this location you want to take the backup. What is your source file? Right, this is your source file. Right, this is your source file. Target file path. Right, target file path plus your object name dot csv. Right, your object name dot csv. Your object name dot csv. Right, target file path. When we should move, in case if it is exist once, right, only very first time you will not expect backup. Right, very first time load will not expect backup. Only the second time, right, only the second time will expect that backup. Will expect that backup. In case if the target is available, then only take the backup. If the target is not available, then don't take that backup. Right, don't take the backup. Right, don't take that backup. So target backup file. Right, target backup file will create, right, target file path plus file name will send and this object name. Right, this object name because I want to do the underscore backup. Right, comma. If you want, you can create. Right, you want to copy this file. Right, you want to copy this file from source location to here target location. Source location to here target location you want to create. Right, this is my target backup path. Target backup path. Let me execute this 2 lines code. So what is the TGT path? Slash fname product underscore. db utils dot fs dot ls. Alright. Now I'm able to see the processed. Alright. Product underscore bkp product.csv. Right. Let me go to AIC, right? AIC processed product underscore bkp. Alright. Product.csv. Yeah. So this logic will implement, right? This logic will implement. Right. This logic will implement, right, to take the backup, but the backup, right, that backup process not for first initial file, right, only from the second execution onwards we should use that backup file, right? We should use the backup file, not for first time, right? Not for first time, right? Not for first time. In case here will include the logic, here will include the logic, right? If dbutils.fs.ls target file path, target file path, very first time, if it is available, right, we'll use the try exception handling, try exception handling concept. ls equal to, right, ls equal to accept backup file, backup file is not required for first load, right? Backup file is not required, target backup file is not required, right? Target backup file is not required for first load. The target backup file is not required for first load. If it is a second load, then we'll take that backup, right? Otherwise, not required. Otherwise, not required. That's why I'm using the except, right? If I'm taking this list command, right? If the target is, right, target file path is not available, means it will fail, right? That's why I'm taking that except block. Right? Target backup file. Target backup file. Target backup file. What are the parameters? Plus your object name. But what is your object name? But file name.csv, comma, file name, comma, file name, comma, file name. Otherwise, you can maintain the logic here also up to your wish. This target file path equal to till here. Till here, I want to take the second equal to your file name. But if you want, you can take this path also as a variable up to your wish. Target path, TGT path, alright. TGT path also you can create. That will display the message. Target file process dot. Target backup file process started. Come. Now we have taken the backup. If it is very first time, we will not take the backup. Second time, we'll take the backup, right? So what is the next? The next post completion of your all data loading, we should delete that backup file, right? All right. We should delete that backup file, the backup folder, right? We should delete that backup folder, right? We should delete the backup folder. Here you can use the your deletion command. All right. If you want, you can use the try except dbutils dot fs dot rm. Right. What is the path? All right. Inside that file name plus underscore bkp rate underscore bkp. All right. You can remove except print backup folder. Right. No backup folder exists for first word. Right. Or at very first time it will fail, right? Because here backup folder is not available. TGT path plus file name underscore BKP, right? Inside the processed product underscore BKP folder will be available, right? You're deleting that folder. Right? You're deleting this folder. If you're implementing this logic, right? You're taking that backup for second execution. You're deleting the backup for second execution. Clear, right? Any doubts? Any doubts?
So, a small thing.
Yeah.
Let's say we have a target as a SQL DB in the ADF.
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, we can do the same kind of logic with the stored procedure file while updating from file to SQL DB. But by using this approach, like Databricks in between, what is the advantage?
Because this is a file system, right? You're writing the data into file, right? Not table, right?
Yeah, I understand. I'm just trying to understand the what do you call advantages over this approach. I mean,
All right.
when you have file to file only, then this is useful or something like that.
I mean, yes, file to file only better, right? I mean, Upsert logic, right? You can execute into the database if it is the source and target is the table, or source is the file, target is the table. You should come up with the stored procedure, right?
Yes.
They should come. But in case if your data volume is very huge, you're dealing with a
Okay.
huge amount of data, then it's
Okay.
very complicated, right? In the database side, then you should think about indexes. You should think about the backend log files because the DML operations definitely it will decrease. I mean, indexes will kill your DML operations performance, right?
Exactly. Okay.
Right. Size. There are many things, right? Size. Plus, think about the standards, right? Each and for example, any project, half of that object store procedure, half of the objects, they will not go with the Databricks either Databricks or database.
Okay. So after this, let's say after we create a final file, let's say as a target file, our expectation or the landscape could be the downstream system like Power BI can directly access this file and they can do their
Correct.
reporting.
Exactly. You're right.
Okay. So
You're right.
the major advantage is we can, I think it's cost wise as well as processing wise, we can save a lot of time by using this approach. If it is file to file and database.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, you're right. But small amount of data, nobody will prefer the Databricks. But
Yeah.
standards, I'm talking about always distributed file
Understand. I
system.
mean, I'm also trying to understand the advantage because I've had that approach somewhere, and I'm just trying to compare and gain the advantage over this approach. Yeah.
Clear, right?
Yeah.
We'll take that EMP and we'll implement this logic. Where is that
So,
EMP?
bro, after final data, we can move to data warehouse or we can directly Power BI take directly from.
I mean, 99.9% at any cost from that Power BI, you should not read the data from the data lake because they will encounter performance issues. Always table will give the good throughput compared to the file system.
Yes. Oh,
Right. But option is available, right? Option is available, but 99.99% people always will read the data from the database. Right. In case if they don't have option, means the data is not available in the database, they want to do the immediate analytics, right? Immediate analysis, the downstream systems, right? Maybe end users, the champion users, they can use the Power BI and take the data
okay.
because that is called their self-reporting, right?
Yes.
I mean, up to their wish. But as per the best practices, that always we should read the data from the table. Then they will get more throughput, good throughput compared to the file system.
Okay. Got it. And one more question, bro. Like this notebook we are using in ADF, right? Like from like ADF is calling this notebook and this is processing, right? So
Correct.
what is the output in ADF we will get from this notebook?
What output I didn't get it. This it will write the data into target location, right?
That's it, right? Like there is no like we cannot use after notebook. We cannot use any other activities in
Your
ADF.
wish.
This is
Your wish. Depends on the processor. After ADF, maybe you're using the poly-based stored procedure, right? Or maybe you're using another notebook, right? Depends on your layers, right?
oh,
Now this is you're talking about only processor. So are you implemented any business layers? No, right? Right.
yes.
If you want, you can include the business layer in separate notebook. Maybe there is no, this is only your business layer, just as maybe this is only your business layer. Next, are you planning to write the data into database? Yes. Then on top of it, you can create the polybase, right?
So if you want to take any activity after notebook, we can take directly data from the processed folder, right?
Correct. You're right.
Okay.
You're right. Because this data notebook is taking the data from your langed files, right?
Yes. Good.
First copy activity, right? After copy activity, this notebook will exist. Means the separate pipeline talking about. Pipeline 1, copy activity, pipeline 2, notebook, pipeline 3, whether your SQL DW stored procedure or SQL DB stored procedure, right?
Okay.
Where you're generating your dimension tables and fact tables, right?
Like just asking real time, like how much time we can estimate to develop this logic? Like we are learning, right? This one.
So this is anyway, I mean, you should come up with a generic, right? Maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, right? Including unit test cases, right? Including unit test cases. Day one, they will not develop, right? Because sprint basis, right? They will think about first, they will ask you to generate the upset logic. Anyway, you will develop only for one object. In the next sprint, right? Come up with some generic solutions. Close to, I mean, 1.5 sprint or 2 sprints, we should implement this logic.
Okay. Got
Already
it.
if it's a known solution, right? Already the solution is in place, then only you should change your source and target. It will not take more time, but within the sprint, maybe 2 objects we can easily finish it. I'm talking about include end-to-end testing. That
Okay.
means inserting the control table, maintain the proper metadata, and executing your notebooks, testing, executing your information from the ADF, right? Happily per sprint, we can take the 2-3 objects development. In case if the solution is in place, if the solution is not in place, then you should develop the solution. Maybe this is maybe, for example, just as maybe the solution only 70%. Maybe maybe your lead, right? Maybe your leader architect, they will ask, okay, please maintain some logger file information, right? Take the source count and target count into some control table, perform some validation, your source input count and target input count, both are same or not. Right? Those kind of validations you will include, then you will, I mean, deliver your code maybe within 3 sprints, or maybe in the first 1 or 2 sprints you'll come up with some 70% solution. Then you will add answer, right? You will add up some additional validations rules.
Like those are comes under enhancements.
Correct. Enhancements, or maybe the regular generic solutions also, right?
Oh.
Right, maybe in the solution is completed, maybe your architect suggested, hey, Kiran, please come up with validation, the source count and target count both are equivalent or not, because source team, they are enabling the number of columns, right? If they are enabling more number of columns, don't add these columns into your target location, right? Make the failure, all right? Those things also we should add, right? The validations, right? If the source count columns, target column count both are equal, then only do the data processing. If source count, target count both are not equal, then don't process. Right?
Yes, got it.
So one more quick thing on this. You said we'll push it to either database or data warehouse, right? Sometimes, I mean, for better performance. So, like how we have the data in the target file, same way we also have the existing data in the data warehouse, let's say, or database. So every time we just drop everything and reload everything from the created target file.
No, right? I mean, here the target, this is only upset logic, not SE type 2. Right? If it is SE type 2, we will not use that overwrite operation. We'll use the delta like concept. So timing, forget about ADLS. You're talking about the database, right? Database we should not drop and recreate, right? All then you should think about SE type 1 or type 2 logic at database side.
Okay.
But I mean, one more question valid. For example, just assume in ADLS you're maintaining the SE type 2. The same logic, why should I implement my target side, right? No use, right?
Yes.
Right, because why should I maintain the duplicate copies 2 times? Because in your data like you're maintaining active records, inactive records. Why should I maintain the active records, inactive records in the data warehousing side? Ultimately, that's the performance issues, right? Right, Suresh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Either here, if you maintain the SC type 2, data warehousing side implement the SC type 1 only. Upset logic.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
99.99% all databases, right? Especially in the current trend, they're maintaining that only active records. Already we have that one more layer. In this layer, we are maintaining the active plus inactive. Because if I maintain the active plus inactive in the DW side, again at my Azure Analyst Service reporting, I mean Cube side, I have to do that filter condition. If I don't have that AS, if I'm having the Power BI, from the Power BI, I have to add the filter conditions, right? To extract only active records, right? Again, it is a time consuming process, right?
Yeah.
Let me implement the logic during the DW side.
Okay.
Clear, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Here also think about the backup also. Here the think about your backup, everything, right? For example, here the process was failed. This as maybe writing the time the backup process was failed. What your next step? Here you should include the try except block. If it is failed, right? If it is failed, then we'll delete that existing folder. We'll take the data from your backup folder to your main folder. Right, Suresh? Here we should include the try except block. Here I'm not including, right? So I am taking that backup in case my line 4, if it is failure, right? Failure, there is a major damage on my data, right? If the command 4 failed, sorry, line 4 failed, then I will use this highlighted try except block. If line 4 failed, in that except, I will delete my target folder, right? I will delete my target folder. I will copy the file from backup file to my target file. Right, Suresh?
Yeah. That's clear. Yeah.
Right? Especially not this statement. Yeah, this statement, sir. Line number 6. Here also, we have to include the try except block. Because
Yeah, if we fail to
right,
write it newly created target folder, again we need to take the backup from the backup what we have.
correct,
We just at least we place it the yesterday's file.
correct, correct. You're right. The backup file, not a studio file, right? Because we are
Yeah, I
before
mean,
writing
yeah.
the same day, right? I mean,
Yes.
yes, maybe data wise, yes, previous day, but before writing the data, we are taking the backup.
Yeah, I meant the same thing. Yeah.
Correct. The database, yes, that is right. You're right. Database, that is the previous day. Before writing, anyway, the data is available in the backup. During the writing, my process failed. That's why I'm using the try except block. It will get in that except block. Then it will take the data from the backup and it will save the data into your backup folder. Any doubts? Here I'm not include the try except block. Just you can include. I mean, each and every step you can check. So, is there any possibility to this process failed? If it is failure, what is that alternative step? Then think about try except. What is that alternative? Right? Each and every step you can think. Right? In case if this process failed, so what is that alternative method? If this process failed, what is that alternative method? Each and every step you can think about. Now, this is your generic solution, right? I mean, can I explain especially this process in detail during your interview. Interviewer, they may ask the question, have you implemented any complex scenario? You can think of this complex scenario. Plus, simply don't say, I implemented the upset logic. You can explain in detail what are the advantages of this notebook. Right? What are the advantages of this notebook? This is notebook advantages, right? Because you have designed especially for your end users requirement. Right? End user requirement. Plus, you have come up with a generic solution. Please, you want to reduce your development efforts also, right?
Yes.
Don't say simple upset logic means nobody will accept this a complex scenario. You can convey the message not only upset logic, we're adding some additional features, right? Like unwanted files deletion, taking that unique name, right? Generating this is a generic solution, right? This notebook will execute for all the objects it will execute. All right, we are taking that backup. Why we are taking that backup? There are chances in case of the cluster running the time it may failure. You can explain in detail how you are generating this logic, right? How you are generating this logic. Why you are creating very first time your empty data frame. All right, you can explain in detail. Why you are using the try except.
Yes.
Right, because that ls command, if the folder is not available, it will fail. The folder is not available means the target path is not available. You can explain in detailed. If it is
Like
possible,
this is 5-level SCD, right, bro? Like we can
right, 5-level SCDs. Take the table level SCD also, right?
yeah,
Both are same only, right? Only this is only it will change, right?
yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
Kiran?
bro. In same example, you took Coalsic, right? You can just take repartition if you have time.
Sorry. Coalesce means only decrease, right? We should not use a
Ah,
here, right? Here you can use repartition.
yes.
Here we should use the repartition. df underscore src equal to, sorry, df underscore src dot repartition of your value. For example, just assume you're increasing the partition. But this is, you're 100% sure your source always 4 partition, 6 partition, then you can increase. If you're not sure, then we should think about the dynamic logic. We should think about the dynamic logic. Any doubts?
Sir, share this file, sir.
Yeah, I'm sharing.
We will stop here, sir. We will
Yes.
do it tomorrow.
Yeah. Any doubts, Suresh and others? This logic is clear, right?
Yeah, I'm good, Suman. Thank you.
Others? Because this logic is very, very important. 100% you will use this logic in the real time. But this notebook definitely it will help out in your future assignments also.
Yes, Sumant, it's clear.
Okay,
Thank
super. Yeah. Thanks everyone. We will connect tomorrow. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Suman, bro, you have 5 minutes time.